Hey, what's going on, guys? So I just made my other video talking about my 2023 stacking goals, and I showed these Guardhouse boxes. And in this video, you're going to get to see what's inside of them, because I know you really want to. Because if I was watching this video, I'd think to myself, what's in the box, man? It's kind of a tease. Just what's in the box, show us, right? So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to show you. So if you didn't see the other video, these are Guardhouse boxes, okay? They're cardboard boxes. They're pretty well built. I like them quite a bit. And they're filled with different coin tubes, okay? So the orange one here is quarters, the brown one is $50, and the green one is dimes. All right, so let's start with the $50. Now my goal was to fill this $50 box in 2023. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, but here's how much I have to go. Of course, upside down. Now as far as the $50 go, there are 20 coins inside of each tube, all right, and there are 28 tubes here. 28 tubes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 4 is 28. So 28 tubes times 20 coins gives us a total of 560 coins. When this is filled, there'll be 560 $50, which equates to $280 worth of change. Now, it's not regular change, as we know. There's silver coins, 90%. Don't mind that right now, the 40%, I'll talk about that in a second. But ultimately, when this thing's filled, it will have $280 worth of 90% coins, which at 20 times face would be worth about $5,600. All right, so most people don't put labels and different things in here. They just fill it up, right? 20, 20, 20, and they just keep going until it's filled with 90% $50. But I have some different things here, so I have things labeled. So the first thing to note is that I have 40% $50 on the right. These are things that I find when I'm coin hunting. I don't buy 40% Kennedy halves. I like to focus on 90%, but when I find them, I keep them because it's silver. That's part of why I do coin hunting. So what happens is when I fill this with 90% and the whole thing gets filled, I'm taking the 40% out so they're empty and then filling with 90%. Right now, it's just a place for me to store the 40%. That's it. But ultimately, I want this all 90% halves. So as of right now, all the labels that have a black dot on it are filled tubes. There's 20 in the tube. So all I really have is 1.5 tubes full of 90% Kennedys, one full tube full of 90% Kennedy proofs, which these are absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, shiny, shiny coins. All right, and obviously they're full silver weight because they are uncirculated. These things are pretty cool. I'd love to have the whole thing just filled with these, but that's a little too expensive. So anyway, there's that. I have like toners are separate, so anything with any kind of toning on it, I keep in a separate little tube here. Some of these are lightly toned, some of them are, have some nice color to it, and they're mixed too, all different types of halves. It's hard to tell with the lighting here, but this has some nice little toning in it, little gold, little blue. So I keep those separate just because it's fun. Eventually it doesn't matter, they'll all get mixed in. So for here I have the Franklin halves. So Benjamin Franklin $50 were from 1948 to 1963. I have one full tube of those and a partial tube here. Then I have Walking Liberty $50. They're from 1910 to 1947. I have two full tubes of Walkers and a half a tube there. Now this up here says Walker dates because for each type of coin, I'm trying to keep one of every date that I have separate, because eventually I'll probably fill an album. If you notice, I don't have a Franklin dates here because I have that Franklin album now. So some of my Franklin $50 are in that album, one of each year. So that's just kind of a fun separate side hobby, I suppose. And then of course I have 40% toners in here, just like the 90%ers. So I still have a heck of a way to go. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, let's say with the half twos, maybe 15 or 16, plus all these, so 18, 20. I got like 20 of the 28 tubes are essentially empty. So I have a lot of $50 to buy. So yeah, that's where I stand with $50. All right, believe it or not, that's the bigger of my collection so far because I barely have any dimes or quarters. All right, so as far as dimes go, you can see there's a lot of empties here. All right, This box, all right, 4 dimes, it holds 50 tubes, and each tube holds 50 dimes. All right, so let me show you that real quick here. I'll pop one of these guys out. It's hard to get out because they're so snug in there and small. So each tube holds 50 dimes. Trying to take that top off without flying everywhere. All right, that's a lot of dimes. All right, so 50 tubes, 50 dimes, that is 2,500 coins. 2,500 dimes this little box holds, all right, which equates to $250 in dimes, which at 20 times face is $5,000 worth of silver dimes. This will also take a very long time to fulfill. All right, now as you can see here, they're all 90%, there is no 40% dime. So I have 4 tubes that are filled. All right, then I have a partial tube here that's not filled yet. I have a separate tube with some toners in there. Again, partially, I guess together, maybe I have a total of 5 tubes filled. And then over here, I have some of the different ones. So these are all Roosevelts, and the majority will probably end up being Roosevelt dimes because they're usually a little bit cheaper. Then we have Barber dimes. Barber dimes were from 1892 to 1916. Then I have the Barber dates tube. All right, so I have one of each of the Barbers. Then Mercury dimes are from 1916 to 1945. Same thing above that, Mercury dates. And then I have Roosevelt dates over here, all right? Now the dates, like I said, those are just one of each of the coins that I have, one of each, year. In case I ever do some kind of an album, it'll be easier to separate that in the future. So that is all I have for dimes. All right, so I have a long way to go. It's not a focus right now at all. Same with quarters. It's not really a focus. I'm just focusing on the half dollars. All right, so get this stuff out of the way in the back here. So now we have our quarters. Come on. All right. So you can see the quarters are pretty much like the dimes. All right. This box here holds 50 tubes, just like the dimes, although each tube of quarters is 40 quarters. All right. So there's 40 silver quarters in each. All right. And again, like I said, there are 50 tubes. Okay. So that's 2,000 coins total when this is completely filled. And that equates to $500, right? A quarter of that, because they're quarters. $500 at 20 times face is $10,000. Okay, if this was filled with 90% quarters, that's what it would be worth. 10 grand. A grand prize on a cheap game show, I suppose. So what I have right now, 1, 2, 3, 4 filled 90% tubes. A partial tube. I have a partial toners tube. I have another one separate that says rough and dirty, and that's literally just for coins that are just like kind of filthy. Eventually they would get replaced with somewhat nicer coins. Some of these are just kind of nasty. A little nasty looking. They're not really toned. They're just kind of gross. But hey, it's still silver, and most people don't care. But for now, I just put them aside. Then on the right side, I have 1 tube of proof quarters. These are modern proof quarters. All right, these are super cool. Again, just like those Kennedys, super shiny, awesome to look at, fondle. All right, you can see these are all the state quarters. One happens to be Montana. All right, but they are super shiny, polished, nice silver proof quarters. All right, so I have 1 tube of those. There we go. And I have some of the older ones. So we have Standing Liberty quarters from 1916 to 1930. The Washington dates here, again, same deal in case you ever want to start an album or something. It's just easier to keep these separate right off the bat. And then I have some Barber quarters from 1892 to 1916. All right, so actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to put the Barbers on the bottom because they're older. I literally only have 1 or 2. I have one Barber quarter. All right. I have Standing Liberties, and I'll put the dates there. All right, so that is what I have for quarters. So as you can see, I don't have a huge collection of any of these. It's funny because when I had these loose in bags, because originally before I got these Guardhouse boxes, I keep all the quarters in one, thick Ziploc bag, and all the dimes, and I have my war nickels. They're all separate, but it felt like I had a ton of them. But once you start putting them in tubes, you realize you really don't. I don't have jack squat as far as a collection goes yet. So I have a long way to go, but like I said, I'm not focusing on quarters or dimes so much this year. Occasionally I still will get them. If I go down to the coin shop and the coin shop has, let's say, I don't know, $8 in junk silver, and there's only 2 half-dollars, I'll take all of it. So even though I'm focusing on the half-dollars, I'll take all the stuff and I'll slowly, because that's how you build something like this. You don't just go out and buy $10,000 worth of silver quarters. I mean, some people do, but I can't afford to do that. Most people don't. You don't have 10,000 to just throw at something like this. All right, so there you go. That was a little collection type video. People love collection videos, but I do this with everything. I do it with my guns, my knives, my silver, my gold. I keep stuff at different locations just for security purposes. If I get robbed or something gets stolen at one place, it's not the whole stack. It's not all my knives, all my guns, all my silver. You know, it would just be a third of it because I have 3 locations I keep everything. So it's hard to make videos like this, but I wanted to do it. So I got the other 2, brought them back here, and now they're all together for the video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, at least if you're into coins or stacking. But yeah, these things, it's a super fun thing. I follow a lot of different stacking channels, and almost all of them have some kind of a stacking goal each year. You know, one person might want to fill a monster box of Eagles. I've seen that. I've seen people who do that, and then they want to fill like a monster box of Canadian maple leaves. So a lot of people do these. They get these Guardhouse boxes and they do junk silver. I've always loved that. I've seen it with the half-dollars multiple times, and it's so fulfilling to see someone, you know, complete their collection, complete an entire box. Ever since I first saw it, I knew I wanted to eventually do it, and that's what I did in 2022 as I started it. In 2023, I'd like to progress with it. Again, just try to focus on these half-dollars. It's got to be such a fulfilling feeling to get one filled, and it's like, that's it, it's cool, it's filled, put it off the side, forget about it. Just don't worry about half-dollars ever again, for me anyway. And then just go to dimes or just go to quarters. I would say after the half-dollars, I'll probably go with quarters, and then I'll go with dimes last. I know a lot of people like dimes, especially preppers, because there's such a small amount of silver. So they're thinking everyday transactions in, you know, post-government apocalyptic America. I'm hoping that never happens. I really don't want to be buying food from my neighbor with dimes. Okay, that sounds like it sucks. I really don't want to do that. I don't think anyone wants to do that, but at least I have a couple handfuls of them, just in case, I suppose. But I'm going by what I think prices will go up. I think prices on half-dollars will go up before quarters and dimes. That's why I'm doing half-dollars first. Then I personally feel like quarters will be a focus before dimes, but who knows? It doesn't really matter. Anything can happen in the future. I'm not thinking that the end of the world is around the corner. Personally, I think that our country's, you know, changing. Our country's changing. The world is changing. I think that there's going to be a switch in the future of world powers. I don't think America's going to be the world power anymore. I think it'll probably be China, or China in the Middle East, or Russia. Who knows? I really don't know what the future holds, but I'm hoping that happens 100 years from now. I'm hoping it doesn't happen this year. You know what I mean? So that's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching and bearing with me through my rambling here. Let me know down in the comment section, do you have a collection of junk silver? And do you call it junk silver, or do you call it constitutional? I like the idea of saying constitutional silver just because it sounds like it's giving the respect that it deserves. It's not actually junk. It was called junk silver because it was a cheap way to get silver back in the day. You were basically buying it for melt value because it was just normal money. But at some point it became more and more and more collectible, you know, and people are looking for this stuff to collect it more so than they're looking for the silver content. So it's just one of those things. I don't really care. I use the terms interchangeably. It depends on who I'm talking to and why we're talking about it. Sometimes I'll call it junk silver and sometimes I'll call it constitutional. But either way, I think it's awesome. It's a rich part of American history. Holding these coins, you have that history in your hand. It's really, really, it's enjoyable to me in a lot of different ways. Not only is it silver, which is enjoyable, it's American history, which is enjoyable, and it's collectible, which is also enjoyable. You know, so it's a win-win-win for me. But it's very expensive, very, very expensive, and it's going to take a long time to fill up these boxes. I would have a goal of probably 10 years. I think within a decade, I can get all 3 of these filled, hopefully sooner. We'll see, year by year. But I'll give you an update, you know, next time if something happens. If I fill one of these guys, I'll have a permanent location for it, and I'll show you first that it's filled up, and then I've reached that goal. It's just kind of fun, you know. You set all kinds of hobbies. You can set different goals. If you collect things, it doesn't matter if it's stamps or coins or knives or guns or whatever. You set goals, and you try to fulfill those goals, and it feels great. So that's it for now, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Take care.